Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Veronica, aka Littlemisskinxpert. In today's video, I am going to show you guys how I created this sultry Valentine's Day look. So without further ado, let's get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Happy Friday. Happy Glam Friday, guys. I know I'm like a busy mama this morning. Play date this morning. I got the cake already baked. I've got to still do the frosting, and then I got to make dinner. So it's like a lot. But I need to get this face on because before my husband gets home, I don't need it looking like this. He sees enough of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh my skin. I've already done all of my skin prep. I used my Resist Brightening Essence, my toner, and my Calm sunscreen by Paula's Choice. So she has created a refreshing mist. I actually placed it in this bottle just for now because the other mister wasn't as misty, if you will. The fact that it's going to help rehydrate my skin because I have been active since this morning. Dry skin is the enemy. So is way too oily skin is the enemy too. But dry skin is like crazy. It's just never a good thing, especially with makeup. Then you look crepey and it just doesn't look very smooth and healthy looking. I am going to add the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer just in my T-zone because I have a little bit of pores that I kind of want to camouflage, and this is the one thing I like about this primer. NYX has also something very similar. It's like spackle almost, but I'm just going to focus it in the T-zone areas. So if you have normal to dry, slightly oily skin, or normal to oily skin, you may want to look into this. It's just going to help combat any excess oil and hide any pores. So just in this area here. So now I'm going to take my MAC Strobe Cream. I actually do use this. I used to use it a lot more as a skin primer because I loved how it hydrated my skin and it made my face look glowy. I know some people who have normal to oily skins don't like it, but if you just use it in areas that you're not really as prone to breaking out in, it's a really nice moisturizer, and it has a little bit of antioxidants in there too, so I like that too. So just putting it in the drier areas and in my high areas of my face, like so. Now I'm going to take my foundation. I normally wouldn't do it this way, but because we're not really doing a dramatic eye, we're just kind of giving me a little bit of something when we're doing a bold lip, I'm going to go ahead and do the foundation now. So I went ahead and I placed my foundation on here, and what I've added to the foundation is the Cover FX Custom Enhancing Drops in the shade Celestial. So what this is going to do, it's an illuminator, and it's going to give the foundation more of a shimmer, and that's going to help my skin look more glowy and dewy and healthy looking. See, I put about 2 drops of this in my foundation, and I'm just going to go ahead and just press it into the skin. I've actually been avoiding also putting too much foundation under here just because I'm allowing the concealer to conceal that area instead. Then I don't feel like I have so much cake face going on, you know? So just using my Nancy Buffed Base brush. So I'm going to go ahead and try the Lock It Concealer by Kat Von D with this foundation. I've never used it with this foundation, but I have used it in the past. I've used it with my Makeup Forever foundation, and I really liked the coverage. It didn't cake up on me. I've also used it with my Charlotte Tilbury foundation as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and just highlight the face and cover any imperfections. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is use it with my Nancy concealer brush first and just get it going. And then I'll go ahead and finish it off using a damp beauty sponge. But I just want to make sure that I'm not removing product. I want to keep that on my skin as much as possible. So using a brush and kind of Stippling it along the skin and rubbing it into the skin is going to allow me to do that. So that's the first step, is just working it into the skin. Isn't that a nice finish? I mean, I really love the illuminators because it does give my skin that glowy effect. So like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter is an example, and then the Cover FX Custom Enhancing Drops are another example, and they really do help bring out a glow that I can appreciate. Now, if you're really oily, I would totally say don't do it. I would probably suggest using a powder kind of highlighter, just because it won't emphasize texture and it won't increase oil production as much. So, but if you guys are leaning on the normal to slightly dry, slightly oily, basically combination skin, or even drier skins, you guys will really, really love those two products. So now I'm just going in with some translucent powder. I'm not using a ton. It's really just to set the foundation now. So just to set, just taking like a big fluffy brush. This is my Nancy powder brush, and just really just going like in sections. It's not really to add any coverage, it's to help set the concealer and the foundation together so they have no issues as I'm going along and doing the makeup. Just like that. It's like a stippling motion, and I'm just kind of just going across the skin. It really helps to make sure that I get all the sections, especially if they're kind of tacky or damp. Okay, so I think today I'm going to be using no other Jaclyn Hill's palette by Morphe. So the first shade in the palette that I'm going to use to just start is this shade right here. This is the shade called Butter. I love this color. And I'm just gonna go ahead using a fluffy brush and add it to the crease. So the next shade in the palette I'm going to go in with is, I think I'm going to go in with this one. This one's called Pukey. Gosh, she's got some great shades in here. Pukey. So just taking another blending brush, and I'm just going to focus it on the outer corner of my eye. Like that. See how that just kind of warmed up the lid a little bit, and I'm just like focusing it kind of in this outer corner of my eye here and along the lash line as well, like this. I might need to go in with my other blending brush just to help blend out these two shades so there's no harsh lines. And just taking the same brush, I'm not going to put any product on there. I just want to make sure that everything is blending and blended. The next shade in the palette I'm going to go in with is this shade called Chip. It's like, I don't know how to describe this, kind of a brown, but I just think that's the shade I want to use. And I'm just going to go along my top lash line because I don't know if I'm going to use any eyeliner today. I really want the emphasis to be on the lip more than anything, and the skin, just to kind of help blend it in the outer portion of my eye to kind of give it that illusion of smoky eye effect. Just taking a brush that's very tiny like that. Jaclyn Hill doesn't really necessarily have a shade that I'm kind of looking for to be like the shimmer shade in my inner corner of my eye, except for maybe this one right here, but it's a little too light on me. So I'm going to actually go in maybe with a mixture of that shade as well as this one from the Tarte in Bloom palette. This palette was my wedding day palette. It was perfect. So I'm going to use this shade. As you can tell, I beat this thing up. So, but that's the shade I'm going to use. I don't want it to be like a harsh, like strong cut crease. I really want it to be very soft. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my synthetic brush with the Fix Plus. I'm going to go in with that shade right there. It's called Funny Girl. Tap that. I am going to also mix in some of that shade from her palette, and just going ahead and give it a whirl. I have a mirror here. Why am I not using it? I don't know. I'm just going back into the Jaclyn Hill palette, adding that shade Chip onto a flat definer brush, and just kind of going along the lash line again, flicking it up, and then taking this small brush here, my blending brush, and I'm going to dip into it just a little bit because I still want to make sure that this area right here stays kind of smoky. Like that. So as you could tell, like there's no liner. It's just like a nice cat eye effect is basically kind of what I wanted to do. And I think we're doing okay. Okay, so now going back in with the Jaclyn Hill palette, I'm going to go ahead and use that shade Chip. And I'm going to go ahead and emphasize the lower lash line by adding that shade. Now I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out using, of course, my blending brush. I figured I better just pick up a mirror, so I'm using the mirror from my Tarte in Bloom palette to kind of help me so you guys can see what the heck is she doing. So this is the shade I used as my transition shade from the beginning. It's blended out, but I want to still make sure that I didn't lose that shade Chip along the lash line. So I'm just kind of stamping it about 3/4 of the way underneath the lash line. Like that. Now I'm going to go in with my new Roller Lash mascara. I've been using my travel one. I was waiting to finish up that too because I don't like my mascaras to sit until so I wanted to finish that up before I opened up this brand new tube of it. So just applying that to the top lash line like that. Okay, so I did add a little bit of translucent powder right here just because my concealer looked like it needed a little bit of attention. So now adding some bronzer. I'm using the Filmstar Bronze and Glow by Charlotte Tilbury. This is a very luxe looking palette. The shades look like this. What I love is it's just subtle. It's a very easy palette to use. It's a highlighter, bronzer, boom, done. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bronze up my face first. And then I'll do some contouring next. I go ahead and add some more glow as if I didn't have enough. This is the Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light by Hourglass, and this was intended to be used for my wedding, so now I'm like, I need to use it up. So it's a very, very subtle glow. It's very, like if you have dry skin, see how it just kind of gives a little bit of a sheen? It's not like bam, blinding highlight. And some people just don't want a bam blinding highlight. I don't blame them. Sometimes it's just too much. So I'm just kind of just adding it and emphasizing the areas I want there to be beamingness to my face. Pretty much all over. And as you guys know, I've been using this blush lately. This is the blush by MAC called LoveCloud. I think it's going to be a perfect shade for Valentine's Day. I most likely will be using this up until that day. So it just gives a little bit of a flush of color, which is what I'm kind of looking for right now. Nothing too crazy since I'm going to be going in with a bold lip. I don't need like streaky blush. I just want glow and beautifulness to kind of illuminate. A few more steps. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. It's just a nice, just a little bit of something. I don't want to go too crazy with that. But I like this one because it's kind of gives a little bit of sheen to the skin, and that's kind of what I want. I want the skin to be like the star of the show besides the lips, and the eyes are just complementary, if that makes sense. And then just picking up that Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow Highlight and Bronzing Palette. I'm just going to use this to emphasize my nose a little bit, and I think I'm even going to use the highlight to kind of just bring out even more of a beam, so it looks like that. And then a little bit in the inner corner as well. Everything just has to go together. Of course, for my lashes today, the style Make Him Miss Me by Icona Lashes, and they are having a sale right now. I highly, highly recommend you guys check it out. This is my favorite lash style. Again, I use this for my wedding, and they're just beautiful and they're easy to apply. I mean, I tried lots of different lash company brands. This one, by far, has been my most favorite. Isn't that pretty? And so easy to apply. And it's because their lash band too is flexible and it's skinny. I feel like when the lash bands are a little too fat, it's really difficult to put them on. I feel like too, like this lash style can complement a lot of people's eye shapes. And I know for me, like when I bought these and I tested out this style and Love Story, I was on the fence between both of them because they were so beautiful. I just wasn't sure how dramatic I wanted my eyes to look that night. Because I got married in the evening, I felt like I could go a little bit more dramatic, whereas if I was getting married like in the daytime, I probably would have gone a little bit more subtle. But either way, these lashes are thebomb.com. I love Jeff Bridges. He is so funny. If you go on his page or you follow him on Instagram, he's got a Stella Artois beer advertisement commercial on his page, and he is the dude, if you guys have ever seen The Big Lebowski, which I'm sure a lot of you have. I actually met Jeff Bridges. It was in Santa Barbara, and it was like, oh my god, that's Jeff Bridges. It was like the strangest, like, kind of heart pounding a moment that I had. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Roller Lash Mascara for my lower lash line. You know, I'm gonna be doing a dramatic lip color anyway, so I don't want it to be so like insane. So I like this wand too, because if you do have shorter lashes like I kind of do on my lower lash line, it's easy to grab the hairs and, you know, get them coated with mascara without them getting clumpy on you, which is really nice. And I don't feel like I'm like poking my eye out, you know? So in my nude lipstick video that I have posted on my YouTube, I also talked about a shade called Stockholm by NYX, and that was by their formula was the soft lip cream formula. I ended up picking up this shade called Monte Carlo, and I wanted to try it with you guys today. So this is the shade that I will be using for today's look. So I went ahead and lined my lips with the MAC lip liner in the shade Cherry, and that's just because I'm not too familiar with their red shade here. And I don't know if it'll bleed, but I doubt it because I love this formula. Here's the final look. I'm actually very, very happy with it. I love this red shade. Again, this is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Monte Carlo. It is beautiful, and I think it'll be really awesome to wear for Valentine's Day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'll see you for the next one. See ya. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.